and welcome everybody. Today I'm talking about something very, very serious, gender-based violence and how do we end it. If you want to know more, stay tuned. Susana and I'm really excited to be back with you guys after a 2-week break from the show. It was really much needed, refilling my own cup. As you know, if you are serving, you can't serve from an empty cup. So it's so important to sometimes take a break and refill your own cup. And especially because we are into the last quarter of the year. Can you believe it? It is October and we have 3 months left of the year and they are action-packed. As you know, time is just going to speed up. From this point onwards, there's so much to do and so much to see and so much to get involved with. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and so I will be doing something around that. So look out for that. I am launching my 2 courses, the last rounds for the year. So look out for details on that. I'll tell you a little bit later. But right now, I'm going to be joined by somebody who I think is absolutely fantastic. I found him actually on Instagram. He did a shoot with a friend of mine, Paul, from Proper Shirts. And I love Paul, I love his style. And I saw this photo shoot and I thought, this is very cool. I really like the styling. The eye of this photographer is really great. And so I started following him and then found out that he's not only a photographer, but he's also a creative director. And he does some super cool things. And as I followed a few days ago, I saw something, End Gender-Based Violence, End GBV, which you guys know is very close to my heart. As you know, I've been affected by gender-based violence. I'm building a safe house for women. I have always been very outspoken about the fact that we need to come together as a community and we need to help each other and support each other and be conscious of the fact that this needs to shift. And only by speaking out, only by stepping up, is this ever going to change? So when I saw that this very cool, very stylish photographer and creative director was doing something, I was like, what are you doing? Tell me more. And I dived into his DMs, and before you knew it, we were having a conversation. And then, as the universe has always done, I bumped into him literally that same day or the next day at Oranje Market. And we ended up having a fat chat about everything that he was doing. He is fantastic. I want to welcome him here today, Brandon Hinton. I hope it is Hinton, right? Am I saying your surname correctly?
Absolutely spot on.
Okay, good. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Firstly, thank you so much for this. Is absolutely incredible, and I couldn't be more excited to be here. So thank you very much. I am so good. This morning was the first time I went into the gallery space, and I don't want to speak ahead of things, but I walked in there. I've been so stressed up until this moment. I've been working towards it for like 8 months now, I think it has been. And I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing left for me to do. I'm there. And it was the most surreal feeling ever. So I've been feeling very anxious up until this moment, but today I'm officially calming down and the anxiety is being replaced with pure excitement. So I couldn't be any happier to be here right now. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
I am so excited because I can't wait to see this exhibition. But I think let's start at the beginning because I think it's really important to understand where things come from, where these thoughts come from, where these needs come from. Because as you express where your need to do something about the situation came from, it'll also spark that in others as well. So what made you want to do something to end gender-based violence?
Well, it started off actually as, it goes back many years. I think I've grown up and especially in the last few years, I think, been particularly frustrated at the state of masculinity and what's become the norm out of men. And I'm going to speak very openly out there, and I do think in South Africa we feel a lot worse than in other countries. But I think our masculinity is the first thing that's the problem here. And that's always been a passion of mine and how we can evolve masculinity and change perhaps outdated terms that get used and different narratives for different types of gentlemen. Because genuinely believe we've pretty much lost track of what a true gentleman actually means. I feel we're lacking role models for men to pursue and to look up to. And so I think that for particularly the younger generations, not really anything there to educate them on what being a man really entails. So that's really the core of it all. But on more of a personal level and what it was just, you know, the frustration of seeing this. You know, you go out and you see a guy misbehaving and you go up to him and you say, hey, that's really not on. You know, you shouldn't be doing that or talking to a woman like that. Or there's only so many times you can do that and get more and more angry at the situation. And that's really at the core of it. And I remember just opening Instagram and it almost felt like every day I was opening it, I was seeing someone else was being affected by gender-based violence. You know, particularly it was most relevant was, I think, straight after our hard lockdown. And not saying it didn't exist before then, but then I felt that I just could not get away from it. It just was a daily thing. And I felt frustrated. I felt I had done what I could do as a male to contribute towards that. And, you know, I spoken to my friends, but then you start realizing, well, you're friends with people because you are like-minded. So it wasn't really an issue in my friend group. But then you go and you say, okay, well, I'm going to go to the marches and support women. And you go to these marches and I post things on Instagram, but I just felt like at my core, I still wasn't doing enough. I felt like I had more potential to contribute to this fight. And ironically, it actually hit me in a dream. I know it's going to sound really strange, but I always have these very vivid dreams. And, you know, you made reference to that photograph of Paul. That also came to me in a dream, funny enough. And I woke up from this dream and I was like, I can't not do anything. I just saw this thing as clear as day. And ironically, if you come to the exhibition or see these photos on social media, that's actually the first series of photos you'll see was literally me just regurgitating a dream. And that's what sparked it all. It was at the core of it was the frustration of the state of masculinity, the incredibly upset with what was happening in South Africa. And it just was getting closer and closer to home. It was impacting my friends a lot more, and it just felt like it was everywhere. And so I felt this burning responsibility to do something about it. And that's what sparked this all. And it really did snowball from there. I mean, I'm not going to lie. And I didn't ever imagine it to be such a big thing as to what it is now. And I'm so grateful for that, for what it is. But I think that also reflects the desperation we're in as a country and the need for things like this. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey to get here. I've been working on this for very long, and I'm very excited for it to actually finally be coming out and for opportunities that have sparked from it like this.
You know, it's first of all, it's for me, when you say it was sparked in a dream, it makes complete sense. Do you know that Avatar is from dreams? The film Avatar was from dreams. He saw the whole script in his dreams and then wrote that story. The guy, and I forget his name, but the guy that invented the sewing machine, he couldn't figure out how to do it. And in a dream, he saw the needle being turned upside down and going into the ground. And that's how he, came up with the sewing machine. So our dreams are such powerful things. It's our subconscious mind connecting with the universe. And I really believe that. I believe that the universe is speaking to us all the time. And if we are conscious enough, and if we are willing, we will receive exactly what we need to know when we need to know it. And so when you say that, it makes complete sense to me. I've dreamt entire things as well. So I listen to my dreams very, very much. And I think that it's wonderful that you acted on it. And it shows your level of consciousness, that you're actually, you've been feeling this, you had a dream, and now you're doing something about it. And I think that is so important for everybody who's listening right now, which all of you, whether you're listening on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to give you guys shout outs if I can. I've got Instagram and Facebook and everything in front of me, and I will try and give you guys shout outs. But I'm bringing this to you because I know that a lot of people, one of the biggest frustrations around gender-based violence is that people feel alone, and they feel like they are outsiders, or that they will be outsiders if they speak up. And this has happened before numerous times. And like you said, within your small group of friends, you're so lucky that you've got a group of friends that are so like-minded, and that they do support your vision and your truth, which is absolutely beautiful. But I also know I've got a friend who, in a group, a WhatsApp group, the guys were sharing some images of girls, and it was like a 15-year-old girl and they're grown men. And he said, guys, this is not really okay. You know, like, I've got a daughter. This does not sit well with me that you are objectifying this child, because literally that's what it is. And they deleted him from the group. And I was saying to him, but you don't want friends like that anyway, and you definitely don't want them around your daughter, you know? So it's hard though, because even me as a woman, I was out once and with a girlfriend, and this guy was super aggressive and rude. And I said, hey, don't talk to my friend like that. And this guy doesn't even talk to me. He looked at my partner and he said, put a muzzle on your bitch. And I was just like, excuse me. I said, nobody puts a muzzle on this bitch. But it's scary. And that day I felt bold, and I don't feel bold every day, and nobody does. But the point is that we need to start speaking up, and we need to do these things. And when we feel supported by people, it's easier to do it. And that's why things like this march that you've organized are so, so, so important. And I know you've got a partner in organizing the march. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So, you know, the march was a very fundamental part to this all. I think when I decided, you know, that I was eventually going to release these images after sitting on them for a very long time. And when it did all kind of start happening, I said, you know what, we have to do that. It's probably the most important thing about this all is getting people together. And I think the whole concept of this was to speak up for people who have been victims of gender-based violence, and also for those who perhaps haven't had the opportunity to speak up for themselves yet, or maybe the timing's not right for them to do so. And I wanted to create a sense of bond and unity amongst victims, and also perhaps the ones who weren't so lucky to survive these cases. And that's really what this is. It's a group of people getting together in unity, in a bond of turning to our government and saying, guys, we really need to do something about this. We need to address this issue and actually find a solution, not just saying, oh, we're going to fix it or it's a problem. Like, let's actually do something about it. And so I started working with Libby Sterling from the Empire Fund, amazing woman who's doing such incredible things, and something that stuck very close to me, and perhaps why I kind of gelled with her so well is that she's doing work in schools, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Is that she goes around to schools and she has an educational program where she works with teenagers on educating them on what a proper relationship should be. What, as a male, as a lover to a female, what are the sort of mannerisms that you should have? What is okay and what's not? And also on the flip side of, as a female, what should your boyfriend be, how should he be acting? What should he be doing? And what are the red flags and how to get out of those red flag situations? So to me, that just really stuck. You know, I just felt it was a great place to address the issue, and I really wanted to support that and to help her with that. So she's come on board and she's been so enthusiastic, and I mean, it's obviously something that she does in extra time, and I think that's just so inspiring, and she's really rallied the troops together for this march. And she's listening to voice notes this morning. She's like, oh, we've got to get shirts. I'm going to go get shirts made, and we've got to do signs. So then she's drawing signs, and she's gone and contacted poets to write poems for this, and you know, she's gone and bought beautiful meters and meters and meters of fabric, so we can really just create as impactful of an experience as possible, and to really just allow everyone to see it and to hear us. I think that's the core of this all. We just want to be heard, and by both our government, but also the bystanders that perhaps aren't taking part in the march.
It's so important. I'm so excited to be doing the march on Thursday. Guys, it's this Thursday, Cape Town, 5 p.m. Where are people meeting?
So we're going to meet on Short Market Street. I know saying that sounds a bit broad, but I think if you live in Cape Town, you understand that it's actually quite a small little hub, and you'll see us there. We're going to be out in the numbers, and the reason why we're doing that is because the actual exhibition will be showcasing on Short Market Street as well. So if you know the area, you'll know exactly where Short Market is. Come to that beautiful little street and you'll see us all gathered there. And the idea with that is we're going to march from there to Parliament. It's short, I think it's like 800 meters. We'll have a little peaceful protest outside of Parliament, and then we'll march back through the city and try and create as much noise as possible to get people to see and hear us and to understand the cause. And the march will then end back on Short Market Street, so returning where it started. And that will then be the official opening of the exhibition. So it will allow people to finish the march and to come in and actually see these images and to hopefully feel what they intend to allow for them to feel.
Well, let's talk about the images for a moment, because I would love to know what inspired, like, how did you choose? Because this is such a broad subject. There's so many different types of gender-based violence that are occurring every single day. So much so that some people don't even realize that they are doing something that is actually considered gender-based violence in a lot of situations. So how did you, because it's a lot, how did you kind of dwindle it down and say, okay, these are the ones I'm going to handle first?
Yes. So obviously, I mean, in complete honesty, it started out with what my traditional viewership on gender-based violence was. And I think when you hear gender-based violence, you immediately think male on female, and that's kind of where it ends. And yes, that is a huge problem. But there's also communities out there that aren't being heard and haven't perhaps had the opportunity to share their voice on this. And so I really wanted to make it inclusive. And so to doing that, I sat back and I said, well, what's the definition of gender-based violence? It's gender on gender. And I wanted to explore that a bit further and reach out into the LGBTQ plus community and listen to what their struggles were and address those issues as well. It was all done through a male's gaze in terms of the male was always the villain, because I do believe, and I think we can agree, is that that's actually where the problem lays. So it's all done from a male's perspective, but I've then worked with various different genders in delivering that. So if you come to the exhibition, you actually see there's a series is dedicated to a different gender, and you know, I could sit here and say I would love to have been fully inclusive of all various genders, and I genuinely would. But there also there's a limitation, and I needed to be respectful of certain communities. Some communities whom I spoke with, they're not also perhaps ready to be showed in this way, and I'm so respectful of that. And I really would love when the opportunity comes to work with those communities. But right now, I address the larger laying issues, and hopefully you see that through the images as well. And I think on a global scale, that's also something we are currently very conscious of and need to be conscious of is inclusivity. So I really wanted to ensure that it was inclusive of all genders and of all races as well, because I think this is an issue that lies broadly amongst everyone, and that's what I wanted to feel. I wanted everyone to feel included in this.
You know, you said to me in a previous conversation, you said it's toxic masculinity is, because I loved you using those words, is the main problem. So yes, mainly that is displayed from males in our community, but it is sometimes displayed from women as well. And I mean, I've got some friends that are international actors that have come here from Hollywood that have told me awful stories about women in positions of power in casting, you know, really putting these young men in awful situations. So it really does happen from every side. But yes, the reality is, guys, that 2 out of 3 women experience, or let's say 2 out of 3 of the feminine in this country experience gender-based violence, and that's of reported cases. And I want that to sink in, because if you really think about it, that's of reported cases. How many people don't report cases because they feel ashamed, because they're embarrassed, because they are shamed, like literally shamed for speaking out? Like, isn't it crazy? And this boggles, Brandon, this must blow your mind as well. Isn't it crazy that if a woman says, this man forced himself on me, people come back, the majority of people come back, go, oh, well, what was the situation? Like, what were you wearing? Where were you? What happened? And they question her. And the guy, they'll go, oh, but are you sure he did that? Did you maybe misread that? Why do we, as a society, choose to like instinctively shame and move away from the actual victim in the situation and try and protect the perpetrator? Like, that needs to shift so desperately, so desperately.
It's a very serious issue, and that lays in the legal system as well, and that's what I've learned through this process too, and that's probably our underlying biggest issue. And I think Lavisa, she's educated me so much on this as well in this process, and that's been the biggest struggle that you know some people have been facing, is you do finally find the courage to go through all these steps and these procedures, and you do finally get to court, but then the judge is turning to these women and saying, but what were you doing to provoke the man to do that? And they're favoring the male, and whether they're doing that consciously or subconsciously, it's a major issue. And I believe that's probably one of the biggest issues to solving this all, is to to shift that narrative. And I don't know why it exists. I genuinely don't. And I wish I did, so I could perhaps contribute to ending that narrative a bit better. But it genuinely is, and it's frightening. It's absolutely frightening, and it does need to end.
100%. And I know about the legal system because I actually, after years and years and years of dealing with sexual harassment in the workplace over and over again on different jobs and things, I found myself in a situation where I was just like, this is enough, this is bullshit, and I'm not standing for it anymore. And I sued this guy for sexual harassment, and it was a traumatic experience for me. Thank God for my best friend who held my hand through the whole thing, because otherwise, and I couldn't tell anyone else. That was also part of the real struggle. I was bound by a contract that didn't allow me to actually voice what had happened. So it was awful. And so this conversation needs to happen. Guys, we need to step forward and come and have this conversation together. I am so excited to come and see your exhibition on Thursday. Do we arrive at 5, or does the march start at 5?
So we arrive at 5 for the march. We'll congregate, and probably about 5:15 we'll head on over. So we'll give everyone a chance to arrive. And again, the reason why we did it at 5 is because I want to be respectful of people's work commitments. We've all been in that boat, and I think there's marches that have happened where we all sit there going, oh, I wish I could go, and unfortunately you can't. So that was my theory around it, why I wanted to make it 5, to make it as broadly inclusive for everyone. We'll then leave it about 5:15 when we feel everyone is there, but to return by 6, which would be the official opening of the exhibition. So, and then even to give the opportunity that perhaps if you aren't able to make the march, you still can come to the exhibition at 6. We're just doing them hand in hand to allow for that.
Perfect. And should people wear a specific color? Is there anything that you are calling for everyone to do so that they look like a unit?
Well, obviously I work in fashion. What do you expect?
That's why I'm asking, baby. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, but to be honest, I am very, again, aware of not making it limiting to people. Again, people are going to be coming from work. So we are suggesting if you can wear black, please wear black with a dash of pink. However, I want to be inclusive. I don't want anyone to feel like they can't attend because perhaps they don't have anything black, or oh shoot, they forgot this morning to wear a black shirt. So please don't feel if you're not wearing black you can't come. That is certainly not the case. The most important thing is that we have numbers and that people attend. If people come in black, great plus, but it is not the essential. We are trying to get people there.
And you'll have posters. Everybody can bring their own posters, I'm sure, but you'll also have some posters. So if people do hear about this, guys, if you hear about this last minute, just come. Seriously, just come. Your presence will be the biggest present that we can ask for on the day. So please, please, please just come. But you will have some posters and some t-shirts that people can also use, correct?
Yeah. Lavisa has been working so hard on this and is so excited to see everyone there. And yes, she's been WhatsApping me all morning, sending me stuff of all these brilliant ideas she's had. And so I'm incredibly excited about it. We will. So please just arrive. If you can bring something pink along, great. If you don't, we've got you covered. Don't worry.
Okay. Amazing, amazing. And then I know that you're going to have the exhibition and these prints will be for sale. What is the hope? Because obviously we were speaking about this and it's very unlikely that somebody is going to hang an image like that in their home. But what is the hope with doing the exhibition?
So the idea with the exhibition and is firstly to raise awareness around gender-based violence. That is the number one intention of this. It's by no means to make money out of it whatsoever. It's really to create imagery that spark emotion, spark people to think outside of the box, perhaps the way that they've normally thought, and to feel inspired to make change. What we will be doing, obviously all the prints will be for sale. We will have the actual prints on the evening, which I won't spoil too many details, but I'm incredibly excited. It's going to be a bit of a unique exhibition, but we'll have prints for sale on the night, and also you can order them. What we're doing with all of those funds is that it will be going straight to Lavisa's MPO, the Empire Fund. What she is doing, I think, is something that's incredible, is that she's been documenting her process from about 2.5 to 3 years ago when she was a victim of gender-based violence. She was very smart to got a film crew to follow her. So she had 2 of her friends who followed her around for all these legal proceedings, which are still happening today, literally. It's been 2.5 years now, and she's still got quite a while to go. But what she's done is she's been so smart that she's actually documented this process so other people can learn from her experience. So what we're trying to do is to finish this documentary. So we've got all the footage ready. We just need to basically cut and edit to it and distribute it to hopefully get it on as many channels as possible. So be that YouTube, but ultimately we'd love to see it land on something like Netflix or Mnet. So if you guys are listening, please let us know. So that's where all the funds are going to be going towards, is to finishing this documentary so that she can then use it in schools, firstly, to educate teenagers on gender-based violence, but also then to create a national drive to end gender-based violence. So we're doing that through the prints. I also have been making some newspapers. Funny enough, I have one right here. So these will also be for sale on the evening as well, which is, for instance, if you don't want to buy a print, and I'm very understandable with that, you can purchase a newspaper where all those proceeds directly go towards it as well. So that's got all the images in, just a little side project that we've added to the exhibition.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Don't you want to hold that image up as well? Because something
secret. You got to come and see it.
It's a sneak peek. It's already on Instagram. It can be seen. It's just one sneak peek. I love this. No, that one. Yes, that one. That one at the back. So I love that image so much because they're not dissimilar. So what is going on in this situation? It's really, really, really great. Guys, this is so important. If we can teach kids, if we can teach children how to shift and change, how to be a divine masculine and a divine feminine that work together, that care and respect each other, that we are going to shift the world. And also why I think this documentary is so important is because the majority of people who are affected by gender-based violence don't actually know what to do. They don't know what the right things or the wrong things are to do. Like when I went through that process of suing that guy, I didn't know that you have to have, do you know this? This is mental, but you have to have 3 things in writing saying to the person, you are not allowed to do that to me. I don't want you to advance like that in my direction. And you've got to have it in writing. So if somebody comes and grabs your butt in the office, you have to send that person an email saying, please don't do that again. And you have to have at least 3 in writing before the judge will even consider seeing your case, because they say otherwise you've got no proof, you've got no evidence that it happened.
Yeah, so this goes back to what we were saying. I think that, you know, the role of our legal system and the pressure we need to put on government. So those rules have to change. That's absurd. I think we're all sitting here thinking, how on earth is that even possible? And so a part of that, actually, sorry to bring this in, but what we've done, which is a huge part of this project, is we've also created a website called ndgbvnow.co.za, and on there I've actually worked with Libby. So for those exact things that you've just mentioned, we've done a step-by-step guide to assist people who have been subject to gender-based violence as to what they need to do to get out of it and to legal actions that they need to pursue. I think it's about 12 or 13 steps, and incredible things that that Libby has taught me through this as well that I wasn't aware of. And you know, it's when someone takes a photograph of you, you know, to write down who exactly took that photograph, where they were when they took that photograph, what was the time of day, you know, all the sort of date stamps that I think also in the anxiousness and the trauma of the experience that you don't think of. So we already wanted to create this almost Bible as to, you know, what to do, and either it's your friend that assists you with it or yourself, you can go to this website and go, okay, this is enough. Step 1, this is what I need to do. Step 2, this is what I need to do. So I really wanted to create something that it wasn't just about creating awareness, but it was also providing a solution to the problem. Yeah,
absolutely. And I love that. And for everybody listening, if you are in that situation where you are being harassed in any way, or where somebody is challenging your boundaries of comfort, the other thing that, and this is what helped me win my case, was I just started recording things. I would just literally put my voice notes on my phone and leave it on the table. And I even said to him, I said, I'm recording our conversation. And because he was so full of ego, he forgot about it and then said all these things. And that's how I won my case, was because I had that. So if you are in that position where you don't feel safe sending an email, record it. But get something. You need evidence. That's just the way it is, but you need evidence. So just record it. And an appeal to everybody who is listening right now. I know how hard it is, and we spoke about this a little bit earlier, and Brandon, you and I spoke about it as well. You've got a great group of friends that are in alignment and hear you. And so when you said, we can't let this happen, they were like, yes. But a lot of people literally lose friends, get shut out. The only way to change this is by speaking up. And it's not about the fact that, because I actually said this earlier on, it's not about the fact that she is somebody's sister, she is somebody's mother, she is somebody's cousin, she is somebody's friend. She is a human being, and she is you. I want you all to hear that. She is you, and you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Hear that properly. Stand up for that. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, yay. But if it has, then I'm sorry, and I stand with you. I stand with you in solidarity. And for each and every person that comes and joins, whether it's happened to you or not, just come and stand in solidarity, because that is the only way we are going to change things. So I can't wait till Thursday. I'm very excited. First of all, to just get together and stand for something I believe in so strongly, but also to see this amazing exhibition that you have put together. I really, really mean it. Guys, go, and I'm going to tag Brandon on all of my posts. Go and check out his work. It is beautiful. I really, really think it's not beautiful, it's cool. It's like super, super cool and super interesting and beautifully thought out, and I love that. I really, really love that. So thank you for your work. Thank you for being the human being that you are, for doing this. I honor you. I see you. I send you so much respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Susana, and thank you for this and everything that you've done. You've been an actual genuine angel that's just literally met at the market. So you are one of them, and they're walking around the running this market, guys.
I hunted you down on Instagram. I was like, this guy's doing cool things. Let's chat. But yes.
Thank you so much. And what you're doing is incredible, and I can't thank you enough. And to your community, to everyone watching and listening, thank you so much for the support and what you've already given. And I thoroughly look forward to welcoming everyone on Thursday. And for those who can't attend, I do feel your presence, and we will be sharing as much as we can so you can feel involved in it. But thank you again to everyone, and specifically to you, and thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much. Everybody watching, I'm sorry we didn't have times for shout outs today, but I see you. Thank you. I love you all so much. I honor each and every one of you, because I know the fact that you're tuned in and you're watching this means you give a shit. And so I honor you, and I thank you, and I think you're amazing. And I look forward to hopefully seeing lots of you on Thursday. Lots of love, lots of blessings.
Hi, I'm Brandon Hinton, a creative director, fashion photographer, and a feminist. The End GBV Now campaign is a LGBTQ+ inclusive editorial of striking high fashion imagery that identifies and raises awareness to the ongoing brutality of gender-based violence in South Africa. My intention with this whole campaign altogether was ultimately to hold a mirror up to society and to address the toxic state of masculinity through a series of evoking images that really united the fashion industry in standing together and publicly saying no to gender-based violence. And as incredibly excited as I am to release these images, it really is only the beginning of what I can only hope to be a national drive to end gender-based violence once and for all. Is ultimately the responsibility to this all lies on us as men to be better, to be better protectors to our lovers, to be better fathers to our children, to be better role models to our friends, colleagues, and society.
really to be better about speaking about our emotions and being accountable to our actions. It's our responsibility to be better at being a man. And that responsibility lays with us as men to end gender-based violence now.